Lead from the Outside. By Stacey Abrams. How to build your future and make real change. Hi and welcome to your favorite channel where you can know all about great books in a blink. If you like this content, remember to like and share it with all your friends and family and everyone who's interested in knowing all about great books. This book brief consists of 11 summarized chapters. Let's dive in. Chapter 1, an overview. Leadership does not come easily for minorities. Women, people of color, and members of the LGBTQ+ community all struggle to reach goals they know they can achieve. In Lead from the Outside, 2019, Stacey Abrams sheds light on the challenges that discriminated members of society face when building their careers, including her own experiences. As a Black woman in politics, she has learned not to let her otherness get in the way of her leadership, and she wants to teach people that it is possible to lead from the outside. She explains how ambition, fear, money, and failure all shape leadership, and offers exercises to help readers on their way. Chapter 2, Motivation. In 1994, Stacey Abrams applied for a prestigious Rhodes Scholarship while studying at Spelman College. She did not want to apply at first for fear of losing. As a Black woman, the odds were not in her favor. Although she made it to the district finals in Texas, she did not win the scholarship, but the experience made her feel that she was capable of way more than she had previously thought. She ended up graduating from Yale Law School, then joined a firm where she was the only Black woman practicing tax law. In everything Stacey has done, she has faced racism and sexism. In 2018, she decided to run for governor in Georgia in order to change the state's politics. Chapter 3, Ambition. As part of her campaign, Stacey visited her old neighborhood in South Georgia. She asked Valerie, a supermarket cashier, how her life could be improved. Valerie said she wanted better financial aid options for her two kids who were both going to college that fall. When Stacey asked what Valerie wanted for herself, she wistfully said she would like to start a daycare to help college girls raise their children while still pursuing an education. Valerie was going to raise her 18-year-old daughter's baby. There are a lot of people like Valerie, minorities who have ambition, but don't have hope or faith. Some of them know what they want, but believe that they can't get there. Others don't even know what they would want to be if they could. Fear of losing, of not being good enough to meet the challenge, holds minorities back. They tend to think of how they can achieve something before understanding what it is they really want to achieve. You first need to ask yourself what you want and why you want it, then you can start thinking of how you can get it. When you are ambitious, you should not fear pushing past what makes you comfortable and safe. You need to be able to take on challenges and learn from people who are more accomplished than you. When Stacey was 18, she planned out her life goals on a lab computer in one evening. She wanted to be a millionaire by age 30 and the mayor of Atlanta by 35. Creating this type of list can give life to your ambition. You can curate it over the years, and with time, everything on it will seem more achievable. Stacey followed her spreadsheet's plan for around a decade. However, she eventually realized that she did not want to be a mayor when she revisited what exactly she wanted to do in her life. The path you plan out will change along with your goals. Always measure your ambitions by how passionate you are about them, not by how likely you are to achieve them. Chapter 4, Fear. Fear is rooted deep in our gut, and we cannot get anywhere until we recognize its power. It makes us worry about minor things such as speaking up in class, or about major issues such as failure. It makes us think that we are not going to achieve anything, which is why we avoid rejection and failure by simply not trying. Minorities are also conditioned to think that the system is rigged against them, which gives fear another foothold. When Stacey was running for governor, a lot of people told her that the state was not ready for a Black woman in charge, and she almost quit. Minorities need to learn to understand the voice of fear and anxiety. They need to figure out how they want to be viewed, especially in positions of power. Fighting stereotypes is one of their responsibilities. When Stacey became leader of the Democrats in the Georgia House of Representatives, she had to carefully craft her image. They expected her, as a Black woman, to be aggressive and try to act like the white men in power. Instead, she was composed and focused on her debate skills in her role as minority leader. She always made sure to answer questions, not avoid them like her colleagues. It is important to find the right balance between authentically sticking to your roots and fitting in and being effective. Chapter 5, Opportunity. Not everyone recognizes the difference between the opportunities available to white people and minorities. You should be able to recognize the flaws in the system that tells you that you will make a fortune by working hard. White people often can rely on family wealth, and they benefit from a presumption that they will succeed because of who they are. People of color do not have that privilege. You must also be able to hack this system. First, you will need to find an opening. Volunteer programs, internships, and organizations where you fit may offer great opportunities. Recognizing and taking advantage of an opportunity is a skill you must master. You would be surprised by the number of possibilities that people deny just because they could be inconvenient. Inconvenience is often the start of opportunity. When Stacey was hiring staff for the Georgia House, she was on a limited budget, so she was choosing people she had worked with before, and not offering new opportunities. She caught herself and offered an unpaid internship to Jenny Castillo. Jenny took advantage of the opportunity, and she was so good at her work that Stacey later hired her as full-time caucus services director. You should also free yourself from any self-doubt. This can often disguise itself as false humility, which makes you deflect when complimented. It can also be paralyzing, and stop you from taking on opportunities you deserve. Recognize your strengths and weaknesses, and study any opportunities or threats that may surround you. Chapter 6, Mentorship. Mentors are not always who we think. A mentor does not have to be someone who has achieved success or someone you idolize. They can simply be someone who offers you help in a tough situation. One of these people for Stacey was Laurette Woods. Stacey had become deputy city attorney for Atlanta, but she was struggling to manage her colleagues. Laurette, the financial manager at the law department, gave her bits of advice that ultimately made her better at her job. Mentorship is a valuable relationship that both mentor and mentee invest in. It is better for a mentorship to be situational rather than long-term, as your need will change over time. There are different types of mentors. Some are primarily sponsors who identify opportunities for you and get you started. Others are mainly advisors. You form a deeper relationship with your advisors, as they genuinely care about you. There is also peer mentorship, which people do not value enough. You can actually learn a lot from your peers, as they are going through the same things you are, but might know something you don't. Networking events and informational meetings within an organization are great ways to socialize and meet potential mentors. As a minority, it is important to have a mentor, preferably an advisor, who is not like you. They should be able to offer contradicting views that arise from gender, racial, and socioeconomic differences. Chapter 7, Money. Money dictates almost every move in our lives. It especially affects educational access, which is crucial for your economic success. A lot of your life early on depends on how much money your parents are making. Money can be one of the toughest obstacles to overcome, especially for women and people of color, who face a lot of disadvantages no matter what field they are in. In politics, for example, people question how minority candidates raise their money or if they are competent enough to spend it. First, you need to figure out your personal finances. After that, you can start boosting your financial fluency to prepare for professional situations. Only then can you be a financially responsible leader. Stacey suffered through years of debt in order to get herself through college as well as support her family. Even 2 decades after college, she was still paying down her student loans. It is important to only borrow what you absolutely need for yourself, and to make sure your needs are met before moving on to taking care of other people. Do your research on what you can and cannot afford. Side hustles might get you through college for a while. You can rent out your extra room on Airbnb, for example. Financial fluency will open a lot of doors for you, especially because no one expects you to have it. You don't have to do it alone, and starting a business with a partner is a good idea, especially if you two know different types of people. Money is messy, and you will mess up at some point, but it is important to be able to expand your knowledge and ask for help whenever you need it. Chapter 8, Failure. One of the most important things you must do is to prepare to win. You cannot dive into a situation unprepared and expect to succeed. If you prepare and still fail, it is worth it to try again multiple times before quitting. Society has conditioned minorities to stay in their lane and never exceed people's expectations of them. However, boldness breeds success and acceptance. You can start small, but you need to make an impact. Of course, not everyone will welcome your boldness, and some may even feel alienated. You must be able to plan out your actions, as well as anticipate the reactions of others. These potential reactions should not scare you. You should be able to own up to your boldness. As a minority, you will want to always be right, and it is not easy to learn how to be wrong. It is also normal to be wrong about people. You may end up taking advice that did not serve you well. This will teach you to better pick who to trust. Taking risks means accepting loss and learning from it, and if you look at successful leaders, you will notice that their wrongs shape their careers, and that they still make mistakes. Chapter 9, Working with what you have. Being a minority means that you are extremely good at getting creative with the limited resources you have. You learn to take advantage of any situation in ways your privileged peers or opponents cannot. You do not have to be in a position of power in order to implement change or get yourself noticed. Sometimes you will be able to point out something important to your boss that they might not have noticed. In one of her ventures with her friend Lara, Stacey was the COO of Insomnia Consulting, while Lara was the CEO. Often, clients took Lara's word and ideas more seriously than Stacey's, just because of her title. However, Stacey learned how to take advantage of her expertise in ways that would get her noticed and appreciated. She would offer her understanding of public finance, for example. You might not want to be a CEO, and a well-titled position might not be for you. However, just because someone holds a higher title than yours, does not mean that they are better or more powerful than you. Titles do not teach you leadership. If you do want better titles, you must learn to do what needs to be done, not just what you were hired to do. Chapter 10, Balance. Work-life balance is a myth. You cannot create equilibrium between the two. The actual ideal model is work-life Jenga. It consists of making the best strategic moves. Life does not follow a schedule, and you may face unexpected circumstances at any time, whether tragic or extraordinary. For example, society sets unrealistic standards for what the ideal woman should be. Women are expected to be married, have children, and achieve success. No one has to fit that mold. A woman can choose to be just a CEO, or just a mother. You must choose your priorities based on both your heart and brain. Both need to be engaged. It can be useful to categorize your plans into gotta do, need to do, ought to do, and might get around to. This system can make your priorities easier to manage. Something a lot of people forget about is self-care. Career-oriented people are especially bad at making time for this. Not giving time to your hobbies is the path to burnout. Meditation, exercise, painting, and gardening are some things you could try that do not take a lot of time from your day. You will be able to reconnect with yourself and go back to work more energized. Last chapter, Power. Minorities are conditioned to assume the worst, and this can deeply affect our self-worth. We will miss out on a lot of opportunities if we do not teach ourselves that we are, in fact, capable of taking power. This requires us to make a conscious effort to put the discrimination we face behind us and rise over it. We are not defined by it, and we shouldn't let society limit us. You need to challenge yourself to be better, and challenge society to accept the best version of yourself, even when it defies their stereotypes. Our haters are our motivators, and we should embrace the power we can hold. Author's style. Stacey Abrams is both empowering and reassuring in her writing. She gets right to the point. Lead from the Outside serves both as a memoir and as a self-help book. Abrams enriches her advice with personal stories from both her political and business careers. She also provides exercises at the end of each chapter for self-analysis. The chapters are a bit scattered and the events are not in chronological order. In addition, Abrams tends to overgeneralize on some ideas and topics. The author's perspective. Stacey Abrams is a politician, lawyer, entrepreneur, nonprofit leader, and award-winning novelist. She served in the Georgia House of Representatives for 10 years until 2017. Abrams is known for her work to register voters of color in Georgia. She lost a close race for governor in 2018 and is running again in 2022. Lead from the Outside was previously published in 2018 under the title of Minority Leader. Though it addresses all minorities, Abrams particularly aims to motivate young and educated Black women to pursue the careers they want, especially in politics. I hope you enjoyed insights on Stacey Abrams's Lead from the Outside. You can purchase the book to learn more, and thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon.